Hello everyone, welcome to another Tuesday video from me, Mike, from Lanzarote Information. Now today we are talking about a weather phenomenon on the island called the Calima. And regular visitors may have heard the term. Quite often you'll see social media posts saying we have a Calima in Lanzarote, and I suspect that a lot of people wonder what on earth a Calima is. So that's what this video is for, to explain to you what a Calima is and what happens during a Calima. Now, it's worth pointing out that it isn't just a Lanzarote phenomenon. You'll find them on all of the Canary Islands, but as you'll find out, the Calima originates from the Sahara Desert, and Lanzarote is the closest island to the Sahara. So we tend to get them more severely and a little more often than some of the more westerly islands. Basically, the Calima is a very hot and oppressive wind which swirls around the island, draws in hot air from the Sahara Desert, often accompanied by sand from the desert. And it comes about with a very, very strong swirling southerly wind. Now, the first thing I notice is the smell. I can actually smell the sand in the air. And what you'll initially see when a Calima is hitting the island is that the sky will go from blue to a kind of white colour, and that's the first signs of the dust in the air. When we have a severe Calima, it goes almost yellow, and I've seen it on the point of becoming red in really severe Calimas. I haven't seen one of those for a few years now, but when they happen, it's kind of really otherworldly. It's like being on Mars or somewhere, because the whole sky is sort of a yellow-red tinged colour. And bear in mind, the Calima is always accompanied by an increase in temperature. Now, they happen most commonly in the winter months. In the winter months, they might raise the temperature from the usual sort of 24, 25 to the high 20s, early 30s. In the summer months, they can raise the temperature into the mid 40s. So it can be oppressively and uncomfortably hot, particularly at night. Those are the times where you really, really want to have air conditioning wherever you're staying or living on the island. Now, the Calimas can also be accompanied by kind of strange insects which get blown over from the Sahara. Over the years, we've had locusts. I remember a time when we were netting locusts out of our swimming pool because they were just dying there. Ladybirds, and it can be quite weird driving along and the windscreen being spattered by ladybirds that are just hanging in the air. Unfortunately, there's nothing really for locusts or ladybirds to eat here. So when they do get blown over, they inevitably just kind of fade and die over time. We also occasionally get some unusual birds that you wouldn't normally see on the island. They tend to hang around for a few days, realise that they're out of sync with where they should be, and take off and fly back to the Sahara that they came from. Now, the question I know you're asking is, how often do we get them and how long do they last? We don't really get them that often. My guess is, on average, in the years that we've lived here, we might have half a dozen a year typically. And out of those half a dozen, only one would be what I would describe as severe. But when we do have a severe one, it can close the airport because aircraft don't have the visibility to land. We don't have an instrument landing system on the runway that the aircraft use coming in overland into a southerly wind. So those two things combined often mean that aircraft have to divert because they can't do a visual approach. Calimas will last for anything from 1 to 3 days. I've never known one last significantly beyond 3 days. And the aftermath is that everything on the island is covered in a layer of that kind of Saharan yellowy reddish sand. And there always follows a really big clean-up afterwards, with everyone sweeping or jet washing their patios, queues at the car washes so that they can jet wash the dust off their cars. And we wait for the next rain to come along to take the dust off our roofs and down through the drain pipe system and into the streets. Now, for most people, and particularly the milder Calimas, it doesn't really affect them in any way. But if you're an asthma sufferer, the health department here will put out warnings about the severity of an incoming Calima, and if it is going to be a fairly bad one, they will recommend that you stay indoors with the windows closed and ideally with the air conditioning on. I've never suffered from it at all, but I know of a few people who get some respiratory difficulties, and one or two who seem to have kind of almost like a hay fever reaction to a Calima. But that isn't that common. Most people just go about their lives normally, and once the Calima's gone, do the cleanup with the rest of us. So there you go, a short video, but the answer to what is a Calima. I hope you found that interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Just worth pointing out here that we do this kind of video, informational type video, every Tuesday. Every Thursday I do a walkabout video from somewhere on the island. We have a series running there at the moment, the villages of Lanzarote. And every Saturday we do the Lanzarote news for you. So if you want to stay in touch with the news on the island, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so that you get notified each Saturday when we post the news. If you found this one useful, please give us a like. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back same time next week with another informational video about Lanzarote. Bye for now, everyone.